Right. See if you can do it.
Okay. Welcome to a long and long time ago.
Well done.
With me, Adam, and my cousin Martyn.
Hey.
We're on to part 4 of Obi-Wan. Um, my opinion, not as
Yep.
good as the last episode. It had its
Mm.
moments, but I had a couple of minor issues with it, but we'll get into that. What about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Again, same. I thought it wasn't as good as the previous week's episode.
Pretty hard to
Um,
top that, though.
Pretty hard to top it,
Yeah.
but I must admit, I watched it a second time just before we've come on to do this, and I had a cheesy grin on my face for most of it.
Yeah.
So I just think, in general, the show is just the best Star Wars I've seen in ages. So
Yeah.
I have quibbles just like you do with
Yeah.
some of the things that are happening, but they're kind of just washing over me because I'm enjoying the show so
That's
much.
it. Yeah. The entertainment factor's there, isn't it? So that's
Yeah,
the big help.
yeah, definitely.
There's not much that sort of, I mean, we always reference, we seem to be referencing Boba Fett a lot, but there's not much in there that like upsets you, if that makes sense.
No.
That and the sequels we reference, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
uh
no, I agree. I think, well, I mean, let's wait till the end of the series before we give
yeah,
our
it
overalls.
could
But I
spoil
think,
it for us, but I doubt
yeah,
it. Yeah, it's onto a winner so far, isn't it?
definitely.
Yeah. So straight in on that then, the opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I know we spoke about this earlier, but the first 5 minutes, you kind of go from Obi-Wan being rescued,
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan being taken to a base of some kind, or a base of an organization called the Path, who rescue
Yes,
Jedi.
yeah.
Then you end up with him in a bacta tank. He comes
As
out the
we
back.
as we predicted, yeah, as we
Yes, yes.
expected.
No Clone Wars flashbacks, though. Damn it.
No, no. But what I was going to say, there was quite a sort of good interaction. Like there was a connection with Vader in his back to tank at the
Yes,
same time, which
yeah.
that was quite cool. I
That's
quite
it. Yeah,
like that they did that.
they're kind of sensing each other now, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you go from him being in the back to tank to saying no, no, I need to try and rescue Leia, to
Mm-hmm.
meeting several members of the Path,
Yeah,
to discussing a plan to go and rescue Leia, to actually flying
flying there
to
and doing it. Yeah,
Fortress Inquisitorious within, I'd say, 5 minutes of the first episode.
yeah. It moves pretty swiftly. That open, really, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
I mean, I have to say, I really respect and like that, because a lot of shows that you see these days would think, okay, well, we can bang an extra episode or two out of that
exactly.
whole
Yeah. Well,
um,
I had my concerns,
situation.
didn't I? I had my concerns that this week would be a bit fillery, but yeah, it seems to have progressed the story pretty nicely.
Sure, sure. I mean, but I think I would, if I had a little niggle, it would perhaps be that I think we needed another 5 minutes maybe there, just
Yeah.
to sort of give us a bit more background detail on the Path.
Okay.
So because we don't really know too much about them, other than they organize and help Jedi escape
Yeah.
the Empire.
I think they may sort of go into a bit more with it in the coming episodes. I mean, there's only two left now, isn't there? So maybe next episode we might find a little bit more about it
That's right.
as they search for it.
I agree. And knowing how Lucasfilm are doing Star Wars at the moment, there's all these threads that they start in certain shows that will perhaps end up in another show.
Yeah.
So we could end up seeing the repercussions of the the path in, I don't know, or a show that we haven't seen yet, that
Yeah,
they're
that's
they're
true.
thinking about for the future. So I
Yeah.
think
Do we know where sort of this is just a question off the top of my head? Do we know where Ahsoka fits in the timeline?
I think after the end of the Clone Wars, the next time we see Ahsoka is when she meets the
Oh, sorry,
crew of,
the TV show, the
oh, the TV.
series.
Oh,
Yeah, the
yeah, that
remake
that takes
series.
place that takes place at the same time as the Mandalorian and Boba
Right.
Fett. So
Okay.
the Mando verse, as they're calling it, like the Marvel
Yeah.
verse. I
Fair
think that's
enough.
what
Yeah.
they're trying to do there,
Yeah.
with that.
Okay.
So
Uh, yeah. Go
you know,
on.
go on, go on.
No, no. I was just wondering more than anything. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I thought that first 5 minutes were fantastic. There was a few great moments in there. The whole hologram plan that they have whenever they do a Star Wars show or film, that was great. I think Obi-Wan got referred to as General.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Which was a nice little throwback.
I can't remember the guy's name. Robat.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't write his name down.
I didn't write it down either. I nearly did.
Did you know he's Ice Cube's son?
Do you know what? You can see it, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I was looking at him. I thought he looks a hell of a lot like Ice Cube.
Yeah. I really wish I'd written his name down now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, he's Ice Cube's son. So the whole first 5 minutes was a real surprise to me, because I thought, perhaps as you did, that the whole episode would be that first 5 minutes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So within 5 minutes, we find ourselves on or in the Inquisitor's base. Yeah. Fortress Inquisitorious is a really hard.
It's a bit of a tongue twister, yeah.
It is. It's really hard to remember every time. So I'm just going to call it the Inquisitor's base.
Inquisitor's base. That works for me, yeah. Yeah.
On the planet Nur, which, is really, so.
A water planet.
Water planet.
And then obviously they fly out there. She goes in undercover. Tara? Yeah.
Tala.
Of course. Yeah. She goes in undercover. Whilst Obi-Wan sort of, I think as you put in the show notes, that he goes in, and it's sort of almost a homage to episode 1. Is that right? Is that what you were saying?
The beginning. Sorry, my phone's going off and it's causing feedback.
Okay,
I've just turned it off. You have to edit that bit. Yeah, the part where Obi-Wan's underwater and he's using the breathing tube is a complete mirror of what happened in the Phantom Menace, when him and Qui-Gon go underwater to Otoh
Yeah.
Again, very cool Easter egg moment, but also kind of a riff of, I don't know if you ever played the game Jedi Fallen Order.
No, I haven't.
No, there's a Jedi in that called Cal Kestis, and he does that exact same thing, swims down underneath the fortress to gain entry. In fact, there's quite a lot, we'll come to the scenes, but there's quite a lot that happened in this episode, which is a complete mirror image of what happened in that game. Yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
From what I understand is the games are now canon. So
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a cool moment. I did kind of think the moment where Tala tried to get into the actual command center, bit clunky, but it worked. It did the job it needed to do. I suppose they had to have some sort of protection from her just walking in there, but
so I was going to say she gains access, and I wondered if she'd almost given herself up straight away, if that makes sense, as in, she was not interrogated. She was questioned by the security head of security.
Yeah.
And she says about the Grand Inquisitor.
And
I wondered then if it was maybe common knowledge that he was believed to be dead. So I thought maybe she'd sort of made a mistake in saying that.
Yes, that's a good point. I didn't think about that, but now you mention it, I would imagine that lowly officers like that probably don't get told what's going on in the world of the Inquisitors. Yes, a really good point. I didn't think of that, but no, I don't think. I think they would. He probably just stands there and just checks passes, and that's about as much information as he gets. If I had to guess,
probably. Yeah. I'm probably looking too much into it, but it's just what I was thinking. Yeah,
that's what we do.
That's it. So they get into there, and then Obi-Wan makes I didn't hear him make a noise or anything, but the stormtrooper turns around to see what's going on behind the door, and he takes him down.
Yeah.
I then thought we might see a sort of, an homage to episode 4, and I thought he might go in the stormtrooper outfit.
I thought exactly the same when I thought, oh, why is he not using the outfit? Why is he not putting the uniform on? there was enough episode 4 moments in this, I think, already. So I don't think we needed any more.
I know, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So as you say, yeah. Do you want to move on to the next bit?
Yeah. So that brings us nicely, I suppose, to mirroring of episode 4. I think Obi-Wan walking around the base, hiding from stormtroopers, was very reminiscent of him doing it as an older Obi-Wan around the Death Star. That was really cool. There was the moment where he used the Force to make a noise in the distance, so the stormtroopers.
And we definitely saw him starting to, get his Jedi skills back, and we're seeing what we were expecting him to do.
Yeah,
what we were expecting to see anyway.
I think nice. Absolutely, and I think I think that mainly started just as he started to hear Leia needed him. He could hear her in the Force. I don't think he could hear her in the next room. I genuinely think he could hear her through the Force. And as she said to him on the speeder, you have to forget these things if you want to, rescue her. These bad experiences you've had, and he totally did, because from the moment he went in there to rescue her from the torture chamber, I thought, he's back. And then a bit later on, I don't want to go too far ahead, but a bit later on, where he's in the corridor, that the Obi-Wan is that we know and love from the prequels. He's back.
Yeah, for sure.
He's back, definitely.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think if it goes into the Reva interrogating Leia, trying to find out where the path is.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because Reva's still such a mystery. I can't work out whether she's good pretending to be bad. Bad is really actually bad, but has got an ulterior motive. What I just don't know. I don't see it coming. So the fact that, in my opinion, that they've made such a good job of making her so obscure in terms of her motives, I hope her final scenes, or where she ends up, actually matches that. I think
we hope for a payoff. Yeah,
absolutely. I hope so, because I do like her character a lot, and I thought her interrogation of Leia was absolutely brilliant. And there's a few hints about, I had a droid when I was your age. Perhaps she was that girl we saw in the beginning of Order 66.
I would have thought so. Yeah,
I think so.
It's looking likely, isn't it? Really,
it is looking likely, and I think we're definitely going to see a flashback of that moment, because why would they show it and not finish that moment off? I'm sure they won't just do it in dialogue.
No,
surely not.
No, shouldn't have thought so.
And again, going back to the interrogation, Vivian Lyra Blair plays Leia. Absolutely brilliant again. I mean, it's hard to believe she's 10 years old, the way she acts. If only we could hire child actors for all movies as good as her, because we've had some bad ones in the past. And in Star Wars films as well.
Well, she does do a very good job of it. I was going to draw attention to the fact she took the Jedi symbol from the first hideout.
Yes.
Slams that down on the table. So I don't know really if there's a motive there or not, but
it definitely, I mean, in that episode, she touched it and there was a look on her face, wasn't there? So it definitely means something to her.
Exactly.
So I just think if she does turn out to be good, really, in the end, or she turns back to good, I just don't think there's enough of 2 episodes isn't long enough to pay that off. To show it, because let's be honest, she's chopped people's hands off. She's nearly like taken people out with a lightsaber. She's taken Leia to a torture chamber. So I don't think she's got.
She's not all good.
She's not good, but then
it
Star
might be
Wars,
good in her.
Absolutely. Well,
that could be the payoff. Like at the end, there might be the Obi-Wan trying to get her across to see the good again.
I hope it could be, but I hope not, because as much as I love Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, I don't want it to end again, a series or a show end where a bad guy finds redemption. Sometimes bad guys can be bad guys and they get their comeuppance, and I just hope that they don't do that with her. But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, they can't kill her off, surely.
Oh, I think she's a goner by the end of the show. Whether it
By
be
the end of the series or by the end of the show,
end
that's
of
what I'm
this.
wondering.
Well, there's rumor there's going to be a second series, isn't there? I've read
And
that, but
that's what I'm thinking. If it does move on to a second series, they'll keep her going, won't they?
possibly so.
I would have thought.
It's difficult to say because if Vader and Obi-Wan have a fight and a second fight in this final 2 episodes coming up, then I can't honestly see Vader being in the next series. So if she does stay alive for the second series, we won't see Vader in it. So I then. I mean, I'm no writer of movies and TV shows, but I find it difficult to go into a second season thinking, oh, there's going to be no Vader in this season.
Yeah.
And who else can be a bad guy to Obi-Wan? I don't know. I hope they don't make a second season. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
As much as I love the show, I think there's too much of
a good thing.
And how many shows have we had in the past where they've done a season and it was just meant to be one season and it's done really well? They've done a second and third season, they've turned out to be nowhere near
a bit rubbish.
So yeah, I hope they stick
almost quit whilst you're ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
So moving on, then we get to the interrogation. You say she
let's go back slightly.
Oh wait, have I missed a bit?
Yeah, there's a great scene where Obi-Wan he finally finds the restricted area and walks into the Jedi tomb.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Which was, I was really shocked and surprised to see that. I thought it was great. It was
what explains where all those lightsabers in the Inquisitor's room came from. I expect,
exactly. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but when I saw them all in the yellow, it reminded me of the amber of the mosquitoes in the Jurassic Park movies, and I read as well some others fans have been thinking it as well, that Palpatine was perhaps using the Jedi in the substance to pull out their DNA to perhaps try and find ways to clone himself or manipulate the midichlorians in the Jedi's blood to try and help him have forever life, if that makes sense. Become immortal. That's a better word.
So that would sort of, that comes into play a little bit in the Mandalorian, doesn't it?
It does. So, it does. But all of this stuff kind of grates me a little bit. I think it's great, and I
love. Do you think they're trying to retroactively fix the prequels?
Not the prequels, the sequels.
Sorry,
absolutely.
Sequels.
I think that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
and that. But before I chastise that, I have to say I like the idea of Palpatine doing all this stuff because it is something that he would have done regardless of what the sequel films did.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's great, but it does strike me as they're doing all this stuff to try and make the sequels make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
How Snoke was created, how Palpatine manages to clone himself.
Yeah.
But what do they call it? A retcon, kind of a retcon to try and fix problems with the sequels. But that's fine. I mean, if they can create a way to make the sequels better, then I'm not going to say that's a bad thing.
Is it going to make you watch them again, though?
I mean, yes, I would definitely watch them again. Thing is with Star Wars,
try and come at them from a different perspective. I suppose.
Exactly. I mean, how many people back in the day when the prequels came out said they were the worst films ever made, absolute trash, and now I speak to people who I was always right from day one when the Phantom Menace came out. I loved all of the prequels, but there were so many of my friends who didn't like the prequels, and I've still got friends now that don't like the prequels. Yeah. But a lot of them have softened massively.
Do you know? I'm still not on board completely with them, but I did watch Revenge of the Sith, and it's fine. It's fine as a movie.
Okay, well, this podcast is basically your education to make you love the prequels.
All right.
There's going to be a little section at the end of why you should love the prequels.
I thought you were going to say this podcast's over.
Oh dear. Well, you've got 5 years of training ahead of you.
Yeah. Shall we move on? Well,
yes,
actually, I did want to ask if you recognised any of the people in the amber in the.
Yes, there
tombs.
was Tara Kenobi, who was one of the Jedi, who I instantly recognised from Lightsaber Lost, which is an episode in the 2nd season, I think, of the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Really good episode where Ahsoka loses her lightsaber, and Ahsoka and Tara Kenobi go looking for it. Really good.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
Yeah.
And there's another one, and I didn't pick this up, but I saw it online. There's one called Pablo Gil, who was, I believe, on the Jedi Council in episode 2, possibly episode 1, but definitely episode 2.
Yeah.
And he was fighting in the Geonosian arena in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There was a couple more in there. One looked a little bit like a Night Sister,
right.
One of the Dathomirian witches, who are on the same planet where Darth Maul comes from, and they used the Force.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it doesn't look like the outfit they were wearing doesn't look like the outfit from the Clone Wars. But I don't know. There was a vibe I got from it that made me think that it might be one of those. And then there was a lot of just people dressed in normal everyday civvies. So I'm guessing they were people that they caught who were perhaps Force sensitive and weren't Jedi.
Yeah. I was going to
Jedi
say
undercover.
They may not have all been Jedi. And the youngling.
Oh yes, yeah.
I
was reading online today that someone was saying that's the youngling that says, "Master Skywalker, what do we do? There's too many of them from Revenge of the Sith." But I don't know if I buy into that one.
Going back to bad child actors.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, where are we at now? God.
Okay. Oh, so Tala creates a distraction for Obi-Wan so that he can get into the torture chamber room.
Yeah.
And she did a really convincing job, because she convinced me that she was actually a triple agent, and she was actually undercover for the Path, but really she was undercover for the Empire, pretending to be undercover.
Yeah.
And for a moment, I believed her. I thought, this is going to be great. This is going to be a real good twist. And Obi-Wan's going to think that, she's on his side, and then she's going to lead them back to where the actual base is.
You never know. Might come into play. Not likely. I don't see why they would do that, but
no, a bit convoluted. But yeah,
if they start going down that route, it might sort of take the respect away from the program that we've given it.
As I say, we keep coming to say there's only 2 episodes left. They haven't got much time to cover it.
Yeah. Do you know the length of the last 2 episodes at all?
No idea. No idea.
Okay.
I mean, I'm hoping beyond hope that the last episode is about an hour. That would be nice.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
I expect so.
Yeah.
Going back a little bit, she has like a few issues during her time on the bridge, if that's what it was, wherever she was doing, helping Obi-Wan out.
The Inquisitor common room.
Okay, we'll call it that if you want. Yeah. So somebody comes in and says, "That's not your station," and she quite quickly deals with him, doesn't she? I thought she's obviously got some skills there. Yeah.
She's definitely. I think she said in one of the episodes she trained with the Empire. She'd had some sort of, I don't know, special forces training.
Well, she did some kind of training. Work for them and whatnot, didn't she? So she must have.
She'd have those skills.
Yeah.
She has a particular set of skills.
She really does. Yeah. Speaking of, no calls to Qui-Gon this week.
No, first week. I think this week, isn't it?
Yeah,
so that tells me that next week we'll definitely be getting him.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, it'll be a good cameo. I think it's going to happen, isn't it?
No, absolutely. We won't see him. It'll just be his voice, but
yeah,
it'll be awesome. I think it'll be the sort of the final kick that Obi-Wan will perhaps need to get him fully back into Obi-Wan mode.
Yeah.
So then that takes us on nicely to the scene where the stormtroopers are guarding Leia in the torture chamber.
This was my favorite scene in the episode.
Oh, really?
Sure,
okay.
yeah. The darkness and then the lightsaber appearing. Yeah, it's just that's cool. Great. That's everything Star Wars to me.
Yeah. And once again, it's a complete exact mirror image of a scene actually taking place in the same room in Jedi Fallen Order, the computer game. Yeah. Oh, wow. So yeah, there's another throwback there to Fallen Order.
Do I need to play this game?
I've not played it. It's quite no, I've not. But then, if I don't have time to play games, because I don't really have a lot of time to play games, and I knew this one was quite long. But what I tend to do is watch the cutscenes from all of these games because they're movie quality. These cutscenes, and I'll watch a YouTube video here or there about certain games, and so I picked all that stuff up from watching those more than actually playing the game.
Fair enough.
But a couple of my friends have played it and they say it's brilliant. So I'll probably get
maybe one day
at some point.
Yeah,
maybe one day. Yeah. Well, if Cal Kestis turns up in one of the shows, I'll probably have to play it, won't I? But yeah, no, that was a great scene, which then led on to another, probably my favorite scene of the whole episode was Obi-Wan and Leia escaping down the corridor, and the droid spots them.
Seeker droid comes in.
Seeker droid, thank you. And then all of a sudden things start getting real for Obi-Wan again. Yeah. And he's twirling that lightsaber and he's deflecting lightsaber laser bolts or blaster bolts from the lightsaber, taking out the stormtroopers, aiming targets at the doors. I mean, it was like watching the prequels again. To a less energetic extent, but it was like watching that again, and I loved every moment of that.
He was finding his rhythm there,
he was, and the nice little twirl at the end, the Obi-Wan twirl of the lightsaber just as he finished, that was absolutely great. And I was up off my chair, like punching the air at that moment. I love, because that to me is one of the many things that I love about Star Wars is the reason Jedi use lightsabers, not blasters, is because they're that good at using them that they can protect themselves from many exactly, and it just represents the skill of the Jedi. So I loved all of that. That was brilliant, which then led on to the scene where the laser bolt hits the glass.
It's the glass, yes, and they're in that room. They managed to shut the door behind them.
Yeah,
and he's there just using the Force, right? Almost like he's barely forgotten.
Again, I think the situation
not in a bad way, but
no, not in a bad way.
But in that, like it's
it's a really good episode to show the progression. The beginning of the episode, he's struggling to pull his comlink towards him. The middle of the episode, he's starting to get a few skills, and then by the end of the episode, he's not the old Obi-Wan,
not quite back to himself, but he's getting
he can look after himself. Yeah, absolutely, he can look after himself.
He's realizing how important it is, I think, now. For him to maintain his skills.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. So that was another great scene. Again. Jedi Fallen Order, that pretty much exact scene happens again in Jedi Fallen Order, but this time it's Vader who's having to hold back the glass from smashing.
Interesting. Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, there's another callback there, and then probably this is the next scene. It's one of those scenes that, because the show's so good, and I really really enjoyed this episode. I thought this was pretty bad, where they've got Leia under a trench coat.
This is where it sort of fell apart a little bit for me. Obviously they've got to escape somehow, so
sure.
You've just got to take it with a pinch of salt, I think. But smuggling her out under that trench coat, quite casually walking past a lot of stormtroopers, and then getting out to that the hangar bay. And then what were the ships that come in?
T-47 air speeders. They're much like the snow speeders that we saw in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
But those were modified. But these ones, they're slightly different. I think you can tell by the way the hatch is open on the top. They're not the same type. But going back to the trench coat, I agree. I totally agree with you. I think it's a bit implausible to get past that many people.
Yeah.
But do you know, it's kind of a silly moment that I was willing to just let go. And as soon as they get outside, Reva, shouts traitor to Tala, and obviously everyone then knows that they're there. But could it be argued that if Reva was going to let them escape, which she obviously, jumping ahead to the end, says that she wanted to let them escape, could she have said to the other troopers and the officers, "Oh, just let them pass, let them pass"? Again, I'm probably a long shot, I know, but it's a possibility that could have happened. So going back to what you were saying, the T-47 speeders come down and pretty much take out
the entire
landing bay.
I also had a bit of an issue with that because they were both flying straight towards a wall, and there's just no way that they would have been able to turn those things around and get out again. So it was a bit of I don't know, it's kind of thrown in there, wasn't it? It was a bit of a throwaway thing, I think. But.
Well, I do believe that those speeders are kind of more like hovercraft. What was the name of the real world Air Force planes? The Harrier jump jets.
Oh, okay. So they can just come to a stop and then
they can
out they go.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
they were going at that wall at some speed, though. That's what I'm saying. It's
air brakes. They're all good. They jump on one of the speeders. I thought it was quite a cool moment where I'm assuming it's some kind of bomb or something. She force pushed onto the back of that other speeder, and that was quite nice.
That was good.
It was a good moment, and I again, I can always get behind some lightsaber deflecting that Reva was doing from the speeder. That was cool, but you could tell that she was letting them go by that stage because she could use the force to bring them down quite easily
if she needed.
And also the speeders, they're very slow, really, and there's an entire hangar of TIE fighters hanging on the roof that they could just quickly send out to chase after them.
I did like that scene as they were going in, and you could see all of those. That was fun.
That was good.
Earlier on, and then Vader makes his appearance for the episode.
I mean,
Vader,
badass as always. Vader comes in
force choke.
I thought he may have perhaps forgiven her a bit too quickly. Said, "Oh, I underestimated."
I did think that. I did think that.
Again,
and you can really, it was a bit of a struggle to hear her say, "I let them go."
Yes,
obviously she's being choked, so that's understandable. But I feel like Vader, in his ruthlessness, would have just snapped her neck there and then. If she'd have said, "I let them go," rather than waiting for an explanation, the Vader I know would have snapped her neck.
Possibly, but he did give her the chance to
explain,
speak. So
there must be some sort of rapport there then, potentially.
Again, I think we said in an earlier episode, didn't we, that perhaps Anakin had something to do with her becoming an Inquisitor. So we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully we'll find out. But just going back, to the final scene. It's not going back at all. Going to the final scene. Where they're on the ship, the path of pick them up. I kind of felt that was kind of a cool moment, and perhaps this a first hint of a rebel cell perhaps that's being created. Perhaps because the rebellion's not really been created yet in the timeline. So they I think Tala said, "Well, now you are soldiers," or something like that when she got on board, and because they were quite reluctant at the beginning. So that could lead to something in the rebellion in the future. So that was kind of cool scene, and it was such a nice moment. Leia taking Obi-Wan's hand at the end. Again, it was fantastic acting from both of them. Really good acting.
It was good. It was very good. Nice. So have you got any Easter eggs for this one?
I've got a few. I mean, I've mentioned all of the Jedi Fallen Order. There was Purge Troopers, those new black stormtroopers. Did you notice those?
Yeah, I saw a couple in there.
They're called Purge Troopers, and
right.
there's one there.
Okay.
I found one thing that I could put on in the background that had something to do with the episode, and that was it.
Yeah.
They're from Fallen Order. Leia mentions the planet Florum, which is the planet which is first seen in the Clone Wars, I believe, and that's where Hondo Ohnaka comes from.
Okay.
He's got his pirate base there. Do you remember Hondo?
Yeah, I remember Hondo. No, he said he was a pirate. Yeah, I remember him now. Yeah.
The Imperial March and possibly the Rogue One Imperial theme were quite noticeable in the episode, just subtly during scenes, which I thought was a nice moment. Because one thing I would say is I don't think we're getting enough, perhaps, Imperial John Williams music, like the Imperial March, some Darth Vader theme, when he's about. I think we could do a bit more of that. So that was nice. And this is a really obscure one, but do you remember the Rathtars in The Force Awakens? Those giant sort of ball things that Han's got on that freighter at the beginning that he's shipping, and they escape.
Okay, no, I don't.
They're like big balls with tentacles and teeth. they go around, catching people on this freighter that he's on. That he's transporting them on. Well, when Obi-Wan's swimming under the water and he's coming up on the I don't know, the entrance to the base. Yeah. There looks like a Rathtar stuck to the side of one of the walls of the outside of the base.
Okay.
Again, I don't know.
I didn't see that.
No, I haven't seen it written or mentioned anywhere else, so I might be wrong. But it definitely looked like
it's a good spot if you have spotted it. Then, yeah.
But that was pretty much my initial Easter eggs. I mean, as I say, I've only watched it. I watched it once properly, and then once on my phone. So
yeah.
I haven't.
Same. I've only watched this one twice, but
yeah. So I haven't given it the full treatment yet, but I'm sure if I spot anything else, we can mention it next week.
Of course, yeah. Brilliant, good stuff.
So overall, I thought the episode was great.
Yeah.
The niggles benefit of the doubts, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, just throw away. That's fine because it's still
going to ruin the show for
exactly. You. Yeah, it's still doing the job, and it's still entertaining.
Exactly.
So, yeah, good, cool. Well, that's that for this week. We'll catch you next week.
Okay, bro. Speak to you.
Take it easy. Bye.